Hi, my name is Ricardo Turriol Bonilla. I'm better known as Mr. T, where I work. I'm a science teacher in high school in Austin, Texas at ALC. I'm proposing a plan of bailing out Main Street. Basically, the plan consists in assigning energetics either by deprivatizing or denationalizing, in the case of Mexico, energy sources and assigning them to the educational system. The second point is uh, assigning the election of judges to the educational system as well. And the third point is assigning, creating a political party that is neither left nor right, that it's authentically third generational party that caters for the middle class. The reason why there are three is because the crisis that we're living right now goes to the very cornerstone of our society, of our culture. So then we have to address it at that level, at the cornerstone level. Presently, the remedies that have been given to the crises has been like the Wall Street bailout and the stimulus packages and so on. That's throwing water at the flames. We need to go to the causes of things. And the causes of things are not so self-evident. We require certain theory. That's what theory is all about, of making hypotheses and trying to get to the root of things. So we're going to use theory in this matter. The purpose, the motivation behind all this is that as an educator, I see there's a big dropout rate in schools with our students on the one hand, and on the other hand, a high turnover rate with teachers, because things are really bad. The educational system is broken, and for many reasons. And and the method we're going to use as educators, we are faced normally, especially in my case with at-risk students, we are based usually with trying to explain very complicated things like science or whatever in terms that are explainable and that connect with people. So like trying to explain complicated things with apples. And this is no different. So we're going to use the touchstone, which is the slogan of the French Revolution, that starts with la liberté, égalité, et fraternité ou la mort. That pretty much starts the modern age, the age we're living in, and this is the last stages of that age. So it pretty much covers it. The guiding question in all this is, how is wealth generated? And I say how is wealth generated because we cannot spend ourselves out of poverty. We need to create jobs. Yes, but jobs that create wealth, that generate wealth. We cannot be creating jobs for one guy digging a hole and the other one covering it up, because that doesn't. Jobs are effects, okay? We have to go to the origin of wealth. Well, let's go to the market. What is the origin of wealth? Well, if there are a few products, the wealth is originated when the buyer prefers a certain product. And of course, it could be due to marketing strategies, the packaging, and so on and so forth. But when the packaging is over and done with, it's the technology that's built in, the service that it provides. And technology is pretty much research, scientific research applied. And scientific research applied in turn is motivated, is fueled by the philosophical deliberation, which is the basis of our modern age of knowledge. And the middle two, scientific research and technological development, are pretty much done in the universities. So then the question is that the origin of wealth lies in the universities. Okay, that's the guiding question. Now I have three concerns, and the flip side of these concerns are the solution, or form the three cornerstones, the three corner dimensions, 3D dimensions. It's the three T's. It's called titular of energetics, tutelary of the judicial branch, and third party in discordance between the left and the right. Okay, let's start with the middle one. In this knowledge-driven age, who is doing the driving? If this is a knowledge-driven age, how come knowledge isn't doing the driving, isn't in the driver's seat? How come it's in the back? Well, that's the concern that I have, and the solution that I give is that the educational system should be in charge of energetics. Energy is the basis of economic work, of production, and of research, of new ideas. So it cannot be left into the hands of private people, nor of the government either. Okay, knowledge has to be in charge. In other words, the educational system. So that's the second T, what I call titular of energetics. Energetics is just carbohydrates, oil, gas, carbon, nuclear energy, and the renewables as well, solar, and so on and so forth. The second concern that I have is with government. Government, as we all know, there are three branches. But if you look into it, there's only two and a half powers. How's that? Well, we know that the sovereign are the people. And the people empower representatives in a representative type of government like the one we have here, empower the legislators, the Senate and the representatives. So it's a branch. It's empowered, so it's a power and it's a branch. The second branch is the executive, and it's also empowered because we vote for him and for the vice president as well, or her, whoever comes out. And it's also a power, but that's not the case with the judicial. The judicial is not empowered. It is the president appoints him, and the Senate ratifies it, so it's half a power, and that's a concern. And the solution that we give here to this second concern of having three branches and only two powers is that there have to be three branches and three powers. The problem is who's going to elect the judicial? Well, it has to be its peers, of judges. And who are the peers? Well, people that are wise. And who are wise? Well, you can gain wisdom by one of two ways: culturally, by going to school, by an education, and naturally, as with age comes. We know that the driving force when we're young, well, it's sex and marriage and all that kind of thing. And then later on, it's ambition. Okay, we want to be on top of the totem pole and so on and so forth. But when time comes with age, that we're not going to take anything with us, so suddenly wisdom pops up, and we're wise by nature or by culture. So those two groups would be the ones whom I think would be assigned the job of electing the judges. And the third concern that I have is that nobody caters for the middle class. The high class is catered by the liberté principle, which are the rich people, the bankers, and so on. And the poor people or the workers are catered for by the égalité principle, the trade unions, and so on and so forth. In the middle class, we're born by accident, so to think, because these two groups can't get together, so they fight, and then as a byproduct is born a middle class. But in a democracy, and I believe in democracies, the hallmark is the middle class. And if you do not have a middle class, but only by accident, and in times of crisis like right now, the middle class is disappearing rapidly, and we're going to have more poor, and few rich and richer. And that's because we have a system based on two radical measures, the left and the right, the Republicans and the Democrats, based on the liberté and the égalité principles. And that's a concern. And the solution that I give is the third team, or third party in discordance between the left and the right. That there has to be a party that caters for the middle class. And I would call it the Universalist Party, but the name doesn't really matter that much. And the fourth part of the liberté, égalité, et fraternité, ou la mort, is ou la mort, or chaos. In other words, that it requires the three groups: the liberté, which are the Republicans or the capitalists and so on; the égalité, which are the trade unions and socialist ideas; and the third one, which is the fraternité, which is the universalist ideas or humanist ideas. It requires the three. And without the three, it's ou la mort, it's chaos. So we do need the three groups catering, one for the upper class, one for the lower class, and one for the middle. So then, in the case of Mexico, it's going through a crisis right now, and it will be denationalize it. And the educational system, I think we all agree, is the basis of everything. Okay, it's culture and knowledge-driven age. Well, knowledge should be in the driver's seat. Okay, we want things to get well, and we should follow the touchstone of the liberté, égalité, and fraternité, that it requires three different groups to get our act together. So then, we cordially invite you to help us create this. We can start from the bottom, creating a Universalist Party, which is worldwide. It cannot be just a local in the US or Mexico or anywhere. It has to be a universal party. We're inviting you to feed us feedback, with your ideas. What do you think of all this? And you can contact us at www.amistadvox.com. Amistad is friendship in Spanish, and vox with an X from Latin. So it's amistadvox.com, or directly in my email, ricturbon@amistadvox.com. And I think we can fix it if we go to the cornerstone, because that's where the problem lies. And well, I love you, and everything will be all right. Okay, if we get together and start working on this, on getting out of this problem by way of generating wealth. Thank you, and good night.